Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody's morning going so far? Good morning, Mark. All right. We have the jobless numbers coming out in about 1 minute here. Let's see how the market reacts to this. All right, let me put a message in the Discord. Perfect. Oh wait, that's the wrong link. Whoops. Shit. All right, copy link. There we go, it's better. Perfect. All right, so let's see what the numbers came out as. So it's slightly above. Shouldn't be a big issue. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rehan. Good morning, Oscar. Good morning, Robert. It's my day off, finally. About time. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Let me know if you guys can hear everything nice and clear. If the screen is nice and clear. If all is good, we'll wait about 5 minutes here till around 8:35, and then we'll get started. Joshua, good morning. Shanti, good morning. Peter, good morning. Go. Appreciate you, man. Diarc, buenos dias. Nancy, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's having a wonderful morning. It is Thursday. Peter, we can hear and see. Iffy, what's going on, buddy? Good morning. Shanti, thumbs up. Perfect. MD, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This market's kind of bouncing here. Let's see what it wants to do. Either way, we're going to attack this thing head on and get ready for what's to come. All right, a few more minutes here and then we can get cracking. Crack-a-lackin'. Those of you wonderful humans that are already here this early, go ahead and smash that like button. Just so we can get the YouTube algos on our side. Let's see. About 2 more minutes and we'll get it kicked off. We just kind of sold off overnight. Not even overnight. Right after when the market closed, the SPY kind of took a doo-doo. But bounced right at that 419 level. So, see where it goes here going into the open. Let's take a look at this. Pull this over here. Wilson, good morning. Johnny Sanchez, sold my shop at the peak yesterday. Do you see it going further up or back down to what? It's always good to secure profits on the way up. And after a strong move like the one Shopify had, there's going to be some pullbacks and there's going to be some consolidation. So you can wait for that consolidation to happen and then take the trade again with proper risk management. Don't have the chart up yet, so when I do go look at charts, you can ask me again and then we'll go through it. But always a good sign to take profits on the way up. That's right, 412 versus 375, that was estimate, or 360. Yeah, sorry, the forecast was 360. The last time was 375. So slight increase in jobless numbers. All right, one more minute and we'll get it kicked off. Link is not working. Let's see. Try that one. That one should work. Does it not work? Yep, that link works. All right. Is that good or bad thing for the market? Jobless claims. It depends on. I mean, this number is not significant, drastically higher or lower than what was forecasted. It is by a little bit, but not too much. So I don't think it's gonna have a direct action or direct reaction in terms of the market. But I think what was really important was the conversation that took place yesterday. Kind of freaked people out a little bit. Just the sentiment overall. Seems that there's still a little bit of fear in the markets, and the FOMC minutes didn't really help with that fear. All right, guys. So it's 8:36. I got a little carried away here. So let's get started. As always, we're gonna get it kicked off with the S&P 500, the SPY. All right, guys. So we can see that, we talked about this last week. There's just been like such tight consolidation that was happening. And usually when we get this, lots of sideways tight action going on, we get an impulsive move to one side or the other. Ideally, we all expected it to go higher, but realistically, let's talk about what oftentimes does happen, right? When we start pulling away from these moving averages, we often pull right back down. And yesterday was that pullback. We have a little bit of an increase here in the selling volume. However, I'm okay with that. I don't mind this pullback. I don't even mind it if we pull back to the 416. We need pullbacks. That way we can see, what stocks are holding more relatively, what stocks, are going to go sideways when the market pulls. And then when market decides to push again, those stocks can continue to go higher. All right. So like I've been saying, for you guys that have been around here for, 3, 4, 5 months, it's totally fine. We shouldn't be panicking about these pullbacks. There's really nothing to worry about. We pull back into the 50, pop right back up. Pull back into the 50, pop right back up, right? It's like a constant trend that's happening. So here we are again, might pop back into this thing. And those are the levels that we really got to look at. This 416.90 is going to be that 50-day moving average. We do have levels on the downside that we can take a look at, and I'll get right into it. Here we go. So I'll get into the closer time frame to kind of show you guys. So that 419 level is that level that we really got to keep an eye on. All right, staying right above that 420.45 right now, which is fine. If we can stay above the 420, we can see a 421, possibly 422.80, and then we come into that 200 moving average on the 15-minute chart, which might act as resistance. So this 422.80 area is a big resistance area, or it was a big support area, and now resistance. So we might see some selling pressure up here. If we roll over, obviously 419, 417, and then we have right in between here, this 416 area is where the 50-day moving average is. All right, guys. So if this selling continues, we had our first red, big red candle yesterday with increased selling volume. If this, these lows here, this pre-market lows, yesterday's lows kind of break, we do open up for a move towards this 417.30 area and then 416, which puts us back at the 50-day moving average. It's 416.90 right now, right? Which is perfectly fine, and I'm okay with it. All right. Now let's get back to the Qs. So Qs kind of similar thing going on with the Qs. All right, guys. Yesterday we had that pullback with increasing selling volume. Slightly better looking chart here because we're bouncing off of the 20, whereas the SPY is under the 20. But that shows us in general where we are in the tech and the growth section, right? Most of the tech names are kind of coming out of a bottoming pattern. They've sold off for so long, and now they're trying to get some momentum to the upside. And then we have leaders like Apple and whatnot that are doing fairly well as well. Okay, so again, same thing. A few levels that we need to keep an eye on here as far as the QQs go. So the 338 will be the key level again. If we do lose that, we do open up to that pull down to the 335 area, possibly 334. And if we do reclaim that 340, we can see a move to 341, 342 area, which will see some serious resistance as well. All right, that's as far as the Qs go. And as far as the SPY goes, now a few tickers that have had some news today. One of them is Nnox. So Nnox announced that the company has submitted a 510K pre-market notification application to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So they've just submitted an application. This absolutely means nothing. This should sell off, possibly back down to the 2870 area. All right, now there is another one. I think VJACK is taking an absolute beating. They have a downgrade, and I think they gave results of a phase 2 / phase 2B study that came out that wasn't doing too well, and they've gotten some downgrades on it. Now the next one, TTD, this is a 10-to-1 split. So if you guys are looking at it and you're seeing, holy shit, it went from 600 all the way down to 59, what's going on? This is a 10-to-1 split, so don't panic. All right, now with that said, if you guys do have any questions, go ahead and shoot me in the chat, and then we'll go through all the tickers that you guys want me to talk about, want me to look at, and then you guys can get an idea of what to do with those things. I think somebody asked me about SHOP, so I'll pull SHOP up here already. Let's take a look at the daily chart on SHOP. So great move, over this 1280 area I had mentioned to a member in the room to take this thing long. I think they did. First resistance area was the 1300, and it chewed that right up. Didn't really find as much of a resistance. And the next one right here, which was the 328, and is now just taken off, right? Increasing volume, great sign on Shopify. I hesitated to put this in my long term here at 1050, unfortunately. Probably the biggest mistake I've made today. I've talked about this 200 moving average, guys, multiple times, hundreds of times. I've talked about buying your favorite long-term stocks at the 200-day moving average. Look at this, all right? Had you bought here, boom, you were golden. Had you bought here, you were golden. Had you bought here, you were golden. Oh, the MacBook battery's going to die. So anyways, it does, chart-wise, it does have room to get to 1440, right? Aggressive move coming here, volume's moving up. Does it have a little bit more to go? It should at least get to the 1440 area and then maybe see some consolidation, sideways action before breaking out, all right? Or it can start doing it right above here. The breakout happened, maybe retest this 1330 area and then continues higher on Shopify. All right, so can you do pins? Let's take a look at pins. Lots of people talking about pins. Pins right here, we have this clear gap, right, from here to here, right? Yesterday, the stock tried closing above that breakout level, right, 69.72. Struggled a little bit. ideally what this needs to do is it needs to stay above the 69.20 in order to fill this gap. All right, from here 75.97 to down here we have a gap, and it needs to kind of fill that gap, and it needs to stay above this to do so. All right, if it rolls over, then not a great sign. I wouldn't still be holding this thing hoping for it to gap fill if it rolls over, because the plan failed and there's no point for you to hold on to it if that plan is not going to pan out. Again, besides that, not much of a setup, no flag, no wedge, nothing in that regards. Simple thing here is the breakout and the gap fill, which looks a little weak right now, needs to stay back above that 69.72 in order to make a gap fill attempt. Mark wants to know about iRobot. So I think iRobot was a victim of WSB on January, and that's what really pushed it up to 200. Here we are, sideways action. Earnings I don't think was that great since we had that gap down, sitting around the 200-day moving average. Not much in it. Pretty flatlined at this point, you know. Not much of a setup. If you're looking to invest in this thing long term, this is possibly a good starting position with time or with room to add towards the 88 if it does fall to that area, and then kind of hold this in your long-term account. In the short term, not much setup, struggling to stay above and below the 200-day moving average, and the 20 and the 50 are above it as well, acting as resistant. SLV. So this is a silver ETF. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but looking a little weak here. I think in general, SLV is looking a little weak here. Coming back down to the 20-day, this 50-day moving average. If we do get down there, we might see some support. But other than that, I don't really like trading gold and silver ETFs, so not something that I can really give too much opinion on. Chart wise, does have room to come down to this 25 area and then possibly the 24.30. NIO. All right, NIO, a very good strong move. Came up to this 46.47 resistance area, pulled back down. Right now it needs to form some sort of a pattern. You know, previously here we pushed up, we consolidated a little bit, we had this little flag breakout, which I think we traded this breakout point. 3 days pullback, first green day to make a pop up. We traded this again, so here we are, 3 days pullback. Not the greatest setup here, whereas, you know, the days weren't really red, they were kind of gapping down and going up, gapping down and going up, so not the greatest days that it put in. However, still on watch. If it gets back above this 46.70, it's got a nice area to move to, at least to the 50, and then 52, and then 55 area, right? So it's got a nice chunk of area that it can get through if it does get back above the 46.47. If you're not in it, I would probably wait for a better pattern or wait for the breakout of the 46. If you are in it, then is it long term? If so, continue holding. If it's short term, you might want to wait to see how it does, if it's going to pop back up to that 46 area. IHRT, what's your thought? And is it a day or swing trade? IHRT. So IHRT, I actually had this on watch, I think a few days back, or I guess near the end of May. And the idea was long over 23 and for targets of around 25, right? So 23 was a long. Here we go. We have this $25 touch here. Ultimately right here over 25.46. If it decides to break out, it could possibly be a good day trade. We have volume coming into it right here. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. Right, so depending on where we end up in the morning session, if we do get a nice aggressive pop out of this 25.46, 25.50 area, we could see a run up on it. All right, but again, unfortunate, because the move here was the break above 23 to take it and go higher. Here we are now. Can't swing this because of the move that it's made so far, but we could possibly see if we can get a day trade on it. above 25.50. FUBO. Keep an eye on this battery here. It might die. FUBO, nice push. And, you know, again, same thing. We had this push here, this 2-day pullback, this first green day above these prior highs, sends it flying high into the resistance of 30.39 here, pulling back into this moving average. Depends. We'll see. If it can get back above 30 again, it might make another move. But if it tried it here, it tried the first green day and it got stuffed again. So I'm not sure if it might do it one more time before getting stuffed. Ideally, the next trade on this would be that if you can really clear that 32.30 area, then you got room to the 35. But here right now, you're a little bit choppy on the FUBO chart. EXOM. Somebody's talking about EXOM. So ExxonMobil, obviously a strong energy sector name. Same with MRO. These are strong names currently because the energy sector is doing very well. Anyways, so this break right here, we had this almost like a cup and handle formation happen, broke above, had this rest day yesterday. If it can stay above that 64 area, it's got room to go higher. But how much higher? We can take a look by just, you know, doing a little bit of a fib retracement here. Possibly 67, 69, and then 73 on the upside, right? And that's not really looking at the weekly chart to figure out some of the resistance points. But needs to stay above 63.79 to continue higher, and would need the energy sector to kind of help it along the way. BA looked bullish up until yesterday, where it broke that 243. You know, it was pulling back very nicely into this 20-day moving average here. Ultimately needed this thing to break above 248 for a pop higher, but it broke below the 249, right? Now it's about to kiss this 50-day moving average, has a possibility to come down to the 237 and possibly even lower now. So if it fails to hold this 50-day moving average, it's going to be in trouble. Ideally, I wanted this thing to kind of make a new daily high, break out and go, considering what's going on with the travel industry. But it's just showing weakness. This BA has been a very rough chart to kind of trade. It's all over the place. It's very news related. And that's why I've always said airlines are just something that you need to hold long term, because they will come out of this little bump that they're in, and eventually they will do very well. But in the current moment, it's too news driven and too choppy. This was a nice pattern that it was setting up, but it didn't pan out as planned and broke down. So possibly room down to 237 on BA. DDodge entry point. Entry point for what? A swing trade, a day trade? What are you looking for in regards to DDodge? If it's looking for a swing trade, not much to do right now. Super extended. It's gone from 70 all the way to 98. You have $100 as your psychological resistance here. You need some sort of a pattern, some sort of a setup here to form before you can trade this on the long side, right? You have some resistance at 101.80, and above that you could see a move to 107. So maybe ultimately wait, see what it does. You want a sideways action here, some sort of a flag, pennant, flat top, in order to break that 100 resistance, and then you can kind of take it up towards that 107, 101.80 area. Next one, we got VJACK. VJACK. Oh wait, I skipped over FUBO. Let's go back to FUBO. I think we talked about FUBO. Didn't we talk about FUBO? Yeah, we talked about FUBO. All right, so VJACK. Not sure. This is an acquisition or SPAC. SPAC prices are usually around $9.50, so this was a pretty good buy if you knew what, I don't know who the SPAC they're merging with or whatever the case may be, but chart wise, obviously something happened here, some sort of news catalyst came up. Price of these SPACs are usually around $9.50, $10, I believe. So if you knew about the SPAC deal, you could have got in here and made decent profit. Chart wise, there's not much here, and I don't really know who they're merging with, so I can't really help you out in that regards. MMED, can't seem to find that ticker. MMED, you still holding long on NEO? Yes, 100%. I'm holding long term on NEO. My average is around 47, so not worried at all about my NEO position. I've been down quite a bit. I added at 34, and brought my average down quite a bit, and that's fine. I'm not worried about NEO one bit. If it pulls back to the 38 area, I'll add more to my long-term position on NEO. Are you still ORPH? ORPH. What do you guys want to know about ORPH? Please tell me. What's there to know about ORPH? Like, people ask me the weirdest questions sometimes. ORPH. Like, what do you want me to tell you about this ticker? Does this look healthy to you? 77 all the way down to 19, and then 23 all the way down to 15. I'm not really sure what to say. Close your eyes and buy, and hope that you win. That's what I can tell you about ORPH. Roblox with the news about lower than expected bookings for May. Do you see their stock to continue dipping, or is just an interim stock price adjustment? You know, earnings always has some sort of catalyst in regards to, news always has some sort of reaction to stocks. But look, it's all about support and resistance when it comes to that, right? So we had the news, and then we had the sell off. Look where we bounced, right here at 79.71, 50-day moving average, perfectly to the T. We have that support right here at 77.80. Does it want to come down to that? It could very easily come down to the 77.80, find a support, because we have lots of transactions here, and we also have these IPO days highs or pivot highs that we have. So it can come down to the 77.80 area before going sideways, consolidating, and then moving higher, right? As far as the reaction goes, obviously lots of selling pressure, but as always, everything in the market is always an overreaction. So take that into consideration. And if you're investing in this thing long term, just always add on the red days, right? Don't buy when it's 10% up, 8% up, 7% up. All right, guys, a few more minutes and then we'll get kicked off here. As always, we always do come in live 8:30 in the morning on YouTube to go over anything that you guys want to talk about. All right, so before you guys leave, go ahead and smash that like button as well, and I would appreciate you greatly. GEVO, again, not really much here. Seems like it's being pumped recently. Not sure what the news is. There's not much here. If you want to day trade it, you can look at it for a possibility to move over 11, see if it can push that this pivot high here at $12. TRCH, another low flow runner, not something that I would trade. Be really careful with it. Wish, God, you guys are totally obsessed with these like gamble stocks. Wish, I don't really like the stock. I think it deserves to be less than $7. And anyone that's buying it up here is hoping that the people who are pumping this end up pumping it to the price that they say it's going to get to. And they're saying it's going to get to $50. There's lots of pumpers on this. There's lots of social media gurus, or there's lots of social media influencers who are involved with this move. And I highly suggest that you understand what you're messing with. Thanks, Ellie, for all you do. No problem, Peter. Anytime, my man. RKT. So Rocket, it's coming down under this 200-day moving average, right? Had this nice move up, rejected this prior resistance area, coming back down. Not something I would trade in the short term. If you want to start on the long term on this, you really need to look into the company and what it is that they do, how their financials look, their balance sheet, what they have coming out in the future for themselves, and then at that point decide if you want to trade this on the long term. The short term, there's not much here. It needs to get back above the 20, 50, and the 200 in order to start making some decisions on the long side. Piton, ever since I had that news, it's been kind of been struggling. Now currently under the 200-day moving average, we can clearly see that it's stuck in this range bound right here. This 101 and this 115, 114.68 area, right? Kind of up, down, up, down, up, down. So ultimately, we need a direction here. If we get back above this 116, we could very easily test that 125. However, if we lose the 101, we could see a move down to the 98, and then it opens us up back to the 89. All right, so keep an eye on it. Ideally, you want to wait for that break above the 115 for a nice move up to the 125. On the downside, not sure if you trade options, but maybe you could trade the puts under that 101 area and see if you can get a move down to a 98 and then the 89. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I got to get back in the Discord. Appreciate every single one of you guys. As always, make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button if you're still here. And I'll catch you guys next week. Have yourself a wonderful day. Take care, guys.